Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Live Vibe Coding with Will Melton. And man, I cannot vibe code without my glasses. So, gosh, guys, you're going to have to wait just 1 second. First time for everything, right? Okay, so today I am finishing up a build that I started yesterday. And I hope you hang out with me for this whole session. If you want to stay inside and stay cool, we are going to finish the humanoid robot rental business. I have an update for you all. If you followed me yesterday, we got in touch with the distributor of the robots, and so super exciting there. I'll give you an update there in a second, but I want to get my chat here in my view so that I can talk to you guys. If you're joining me for the very first time, please follow me on channelrva.com, studio.willmelton.com, or just about any place where you like to capture your media. So we're on YouTube, we are on LinkedIn, we're on Twitch, and this is a Channel RVA production. So if you're not familiar with Channel RVA, head over to channelrva.com and find out all the cool things we're doing over there. All right, so humanoid robot business. Let's see where we are today. I'm going to close out of some of my windows because I feel like I might have too much going today, and I want to make sure I'm not burning up too much memory on my computer. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a shout in the chat. I'll keep an eye on that and make sure that I get you guys some answers. But let me share my screen here. Okay, so we have the robot your event has been waiting for. All right, so I've got pink, orange, and yellow today going. This is just happening. Let's see. So, same windows. And yeah, so let's actually find out. Let me refresh this screen and see where we're at on chats. I've been doing some of this stuff from my phone. Okay. We have a new business plan. Since we got some pricing back, we know we're going to do the ED model. And so that comes with a higher level of functionality and ability. And so as we come in here and take a look at this business plan, this is going to tell us, I'm actually going to ask, I'm actually going to talk to this. I just started my live vibe coding session at Sunday, and we are going to work for an hour. So I wanted to have you guide me through this day so we can get as much done in 1 hour as possible. We are vibe coding an entire business, not just a website. All right, so while that's thinking, I'm going to come here and start to look around. Okay. Here's our updated scenarios where we cash flow in every single scenario. Have some targets to hit to make that work. Okay, the business plan. Okay. Let's see. Proceed with block 1. Takes some time. All right, so risks and mitigation. Financing request. Okay, so that business plan's solid. All right, so one thing that happened yesterday is found out that we can connect Claude to Lovable, which I did, and since then I have been thinking a lot about ways that we can advance the ball in a lot of different arenas. So much. There's so much. I don't have to go out of Claude really anymore if I wanted to not go out of Claude anymore. And I can talk to all of my apps at one time, which is really remarkable. So that is kind of the place that I'm at so far with it. But I'm actively having a conversation with Claude about other ways that we might be able to leverage it, and actively started a conversation inside of the Slack channel for my developers at Exponent 21, so we can talk about all of that. So one thing I didn't do yesterday is I did not go get my Stripe keys. So I'm going to go do that now so that we can actually launch today, because I can't launch today if we don't do that. So while I'm doing that, and then what I'll do is I'll just say, I'm getting Stripe keys now. Okay. 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 This is, we did a lot of the work yesterday for this build, so today is really just about getting everything patched up.
You're tuned into Channel RVA, the media hub for independent creators. Subscribe at channelrva.com.
I'm just going to let that run while I continue to go get my API key for this project. All right, this is going to be just getting my API key on another window while this is doing its thing. It was pretty cool. This morning I was on my phone and I was talking to Claude and I was asking it to make a change to my Lovable app, and I did, and my Lovable mobile app actually gave me a notification saying the work was done. So I thought that was pretty cool. Okay. All right. There's always a reason why I wait. is quite literally the most boring part of the build. I probably could have done this when I wasn't live with you guys, but it's necessary. So, I'm going to go get a test key just to make sure that we can be good stewards over here. All right. All right, finally getting the test key. All right. A couple things. The hero video, the hero video is not aligned with the top of the viewport. It's got a big gap. The video is also showing YouTube overlay items. I want to hide that stuff. And it's only playing one video right now. We want it to rotate through all the videos. All right. Keys are configured, so that's all done. What else are we working on here? It's 10:21. We've got 40 minutes. This is all going to be done under Exponent 21. It's not a separate business, so we're not going to be filing for any registrations.
You're tuned into Channel RVA.
Go ahead and update the draft for Henry. Given what we talked about, I am interested in becoming a distributor, but we're just starting this out. So we want to go ahead and get the first robot and start the rental business first. And then as we generate demand and leverage our SEO prowess, we will be able to create a significant demand. Go ahead and get that email sent. There's another draft in there that I want you to replace. I want you to send the email. There's a draft in my drafts folder that I want you to replace with this. Ah. Okay. Give me the updated plan with the next step. What are you going to do on Lovable? What are you going to do on drafting things? What am I going to do? Ah, this is so frustrating. Give me the plan. What are you going to do with Lovable? What are you going to draft? What am I going to do? It's because all right, let's see. Hey, Michael. Got my keys wired up. So we're about to go, not live, but we're about to test out our status. I've got Claude wired up to Lovable now, so it's doing a lot on my behalf, which is pretty cool. Let's see, it's requesting things on my behalf with good instructions, which I'm pretty happy with. Um, all right. All right, so I'm going to go heard back from the U.S. distributor of the robots, and we're advancing that conversation right now. And I have a thing that automatically drafts my draft replies. So all right, sent the email. Let's go do some tests.
You're tuned into Channel RVA, the media hub for independent creators. Subscribe at channelrva.com.
We need to switch to test mode on Stripe. All right, so we got Henry's email out. Okay, so I had this idea yesterday where I was thinking we could create an engine that effectively gives people a tool that they can use to think of a reason why they might use this bot and how they're going to get a return on it. So let's see what happens. I'm operating a little bit differently than I normally do because I'm using Claude right now, which is new. Certainly uses more credits to do that than just using the Lovable credits, but I tend to like it because it's not Lovable certainly has its trenches that it hangs out in and creates for itself, and sometimes that's thinking about using things that Lovable wants users to use, so some sort of bias toward their tools. Sometimes it's just not really able to think outside of the box, and Claude is thinking outside the box. All right, so all right, I gotta go get a different signing secret. Okay. I feel like the hero text is taking up too much space. I can't really see the video behind it. And then there's something else going on where the page keeps loading down to how it works. Not sure what's going on there, but we really need to have the site not have any reloading issues or anything like that. All right, so we've got 20 minutes left in this build.
Sommerhits und Summer Throwbacks. Latin Pop, R&B, Afrobeats und Amapiano.
Ready for the summer.
I love the sun. Summer is now. Und für mehr Beat in deinem Sommer, switch einfach zu I Love the Beach. Für Pool und Beach und Bar. This is I Love Chill Hop.
You're tuned into Channel RVA, the media hub for independent creators. Subscribe at channelrva.com.
All right. All right. All right. Well. The menu is currently a mix of anchor links and pages, and that's not really an ideal design. So let's really think about the overall structure of the content of the site. And right now, our menu is getting a bit unwieldy. FAQs should have their own URLs. The answers should be longer and optimized. We can still put them as accordions on the home page, but we need to be able to make sure that this is manageable. Right now, it's just it's too much going on up here. All right, I'm pretty quiet today, but I am working on getting our become an affiliate does not work. All right. All right, well, I think we're in pretty good shape here. I think we'll be able to turn this on. I'm gonna go take a look at terms of service.
You're tuned into Channel RVA, the media hub for independent creators. Subscribe at channelrva.com.
But anyway, yeah, so I'm pretty quiet today because I'm just reading through all this stuff and everything's working as expected. Just kind of moving through the final tasks. I really can't do anything with Claude right now because it's waiting. For Lovable to finish. Let me go ahead and get this online while we are. That way we will be live by the time I'm done today. Yes, that's fine. So the idea here is that we will get enough people to come and reserve this thing. All right, well, we're done with that. I'm gonna go ahead and publish this and we'll switch our keys over. Wasn't supposed to do that. The queue should, I don't know. My plan just disappeared, so kind of frustrating about that. 4 minutes. Let's do this. I'm going to continue coding on the other side, but for the business to be functional, not just the website, what do we need to do? And we're about to wrap up here, but I want to really quickly before I'll keep going. Let's see.
It's 11 o'clock.
alright with you.
You're tuned into Channel RVA, the media hub for independent creators. Subscribe at channelrva.com.
I did not get an email whenever I reserved my bot. I did not get an email when I reserved my bot. I don't have a place to go into my account to see the status of my deposit and the status of this whole thing. We need to be able to keep people informed.
I love chill hop. Kurzer Break. Die kostenlose Streaming-App für Charts, Dance, Hip-Hop und Throwbacks. Immer neue Playlisten, immer live gestreamt. Mit I Love Radio und vielen weiteren Non-Stop-Music-Channels. I love music.
right. Hey, John the Bronze. I am wrapping up a build today. Sorry, I've got nothing on my screen. I'm actually working on this right now. Let's see. At a stopping point. Okay, ask. I'm gonna get a API key really quickly for BookBot. We're making a website that is going to allow people to reserve a robot in Richmond, Virginia for marketing purposes. This will be live. You'll actually be able to reserve a bot. Not dated, but if we get 15 people who will say yes to this, we will go for it. All right. Cool. So a few things on this. I do code HTML, but be curious to know why you'd be asking that. We are well past HTML. I mean, it still exists. It's still there. It's still how browsers read websites, but building in React and TypeScript and some other languages these days. Oh, cool. Don't apologize. Nothing to be sorry about. What are you trying to get done? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, HTML is just one language that you can use to write websites. I actually code with Lovable. In order to have an account, I suspect you'll probably need your parents to help with that. But if you look at studio.willmelton.com, you can actually get 10 free credits with Lovable to build with. And so this is my referral code, and you'd probably be able to build what you're talking about with those 10 credits. It's not going to be a big build, but you just talk to it. It's what we're doing here, as you can see, is I'm connecting Claude. Yeah. CSS and JS are appropriate layers on top of most of these websites. Your database is your sort of source of truth, and so you want to think about really three things. You've got your database, which is all the information and all the labels that information is going to be capturing. You want that to be really well thought out. What are all the information pieces that you could ever need to surface on the website? Once you have that structure down, then it becomes a little bit easier to think about all the rest, because what you're then doing is saying, how do we create functions that process this data and surface it? And how do we create components or interfaces that can actually surface the information that we have in the database? And so, using AI to do this is going to be your best bet, because you can certainly look at the code that it creates. Like, we can come in here and look and see all of our code base. But you can see we've got some TypeScript in here. We've got some JS in here. We have some CSS files someplace. Not quite sure where it is, but here. But you've got your components, you've got your hooks, you've got your integrations, you've got your routes, and so this is, quite a bit of an advanced build, but it's super fast. And like I said, you can probably get what you're trying to get done without spending too much money. I couldn't tell you how much I've spent a day because I don't know, but let's go find out. No, I don't have data coming up to today. Oh yeah, I do. Today's the 5th. So today I have built using, let's see, Robot Reserve. This project, I've used 71 credits on it today, but this is a pretty big build. Let's see what Claude has to say for me. You can take a look at, let me think if there's any travel sites in here that I've done. I have this travel thrift website, which is not the same thing, but it kind of gives you an idea of something that you could build. So what this does, this is kind of connecting two different audiences, right? So on one end, it's going to be a merchant or a hotel or a restaurant that wants people who are traveling to their location to come into their establishment. And it creates a place where travelers get to find discounts in their location, the destination, and use those to be able to save money on their trip. So a little bit different from what you are talking about, but for this, what we kind of do is we get people to give a pledge toward that destination. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the destination gets the pledge if you don't show up, but it's really designed to really create that decision point and get people to lock it in. Yeah. I don't have a good answer for you. I think, yeah, if you keep moving around, it's going to be challenging. You're going to lose a lot of time in the pursuit of finishing the project. I would try to. The thing I'll tell you about this is your future. You might not have the potential or ability right now to think too much about what life's going to be like when you're 25 or 30 or 40, but the more you do now, the faster you're going to get to where you want to be. The more you build, the more you're going to learn. And so be thinking about how you can make money while you're doing this work. That's going to be your fastest pathway to generating the money that you need to be able to build. And I think you're smart, so you're going to be able to figure that out. But even if you're just doing some odd jobs for a neighbor so that you can get enough money together so that you can spend a little bit, $100 in compute credits goes a really long way. But I will tell you, it does get expensive when you build as much as I do. And I'm building 52 apps this year, so it's going to be certainly a lot, but we're making money from it. We're selling other people apps. We're creating tools that we can generate revenue from. So, all right. I think I'm going to wrap up here pretty soon. I'm going to make sure that I have good security before we actually push this live. We got the favicon loaded already. So. Security run. All right. All right. Business plan's done. Working on some touch-ups. We've got our press release ready to go. We've got our soft contacts that we're going to be able to reach out to. I'm going to run a security check. And I'm going to go into my email and make sure that I have an alias set up so that I can receive messages from reservations at exponent21.com. Let's see what it said. I'm wrapping up my day. We're going to do a security check and we're going to push this thing live. What else do I need to do? Once I publish this, I'm going to do a live test. Go have fun. Nice chatting with you. Okay.
You're tuned into Channel RVA, the media hub for independent creators. Subscribe at channelrva.com.
Did the security check. We'll do the resend confirmation here in a minute. I'll do a real world test here momentarily. Make sure that we can see settings, business apps, public details. I like making program solutions to problems I have or making my own version of something so it's more tuned to what I want using Claude Code. Yes, I think that's the future of software. SaaS companies should be very nervous right now if they have low feature applications or applications that have a high cost, a high price point. Those applications, those app builders are going to lose business because folks like us are building things for ourselves that do the work.
So that's exciting. Mit Taylor Swift.
Hello,
Harry Styles.
I'm Harry.
Olivia Rodrigo. Tate McRae. Billie Eilish und vielen mehr. Schalt jetzt zu I Love Biggest Pop Hits. This is I Love Chill Hop.
All right, so time to publish. Very seldom do I ever actually push something live while I am with you guys. And so this is a fun one. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to admin. Still publishing. All right. Well, I think I need to get these reservations done on the site. I don't really have time to manage these conversations if they're not going to go. I just don't need to make it, announce it to the public yet, right? Oh yeah, sorry I didn't actually have a chance to describe it to you. I was talking a bit. I've been live now for an hour and a half, so yeah. The premise of today's build and yesterday's build is to see if we can live vibe code a business from scratch. Certainly, there's some elements to business that I have already established, like we're already a corporation, so we can leverage that to make this thing come to life. But the idea is like, how do you, with no capital, take something to market and see if you can't drum up enough support to be able to make it real? And so I encourage you to go back and watch yesterday's stream and rewatch today's stream, because I did it literally. The idea was in my head. Normally, whenever I have an idea like that, it's like really tempting to go and start working on it. But my point in the morning is to get the idea out, get the show set up, and go live. And that, yesterday I did that, so I didn't advance any of the work before I started. So this was truly a 2-day build, where yesterday we started with Claude telling it what we wanted to make. We ended up getting this site built in Lovable, and then we now are launching this today, and people in the Richmond market that are interested in seeing this bot be their marketing powerhouse. We've got a lot of things in here from the activation plan that I need to test this to make sure it works, but giving people ideas about how to use this. This is cool. Anyway, sorry, I'm just kind of testing all of this stuff now because we're about to push it live. I mean, we have it live now, so obviously you've seen it, but I'm going to actually make it so that you can reserve the bot. And then I'm going to sign off for the day and go enjoy the rest of my weekend. All right, let's see. My game is to make things from nothing. It's fun to play. Started a lot of things that didn't turn into anything. If I worked at them harder, I probably could make them something. But most of the things that I build are designed to solve problems that I have. This problem is I want a robot, but I don't want to spend $45,000 on it. So let me get other people to pay for the robot, and we'll come have some fun. I'm sticking around here now just because I know that we're going to be really close to finishing up.
The media hub for independent
Also,
creators.
if you're
Subscribe at
new to all this, channelrva.com is the place where we post this live. We also have it, all the shows in here so that you can come over and see what we're making. I'm sticking around here just because I know that we're close to finishing up. The show's not actually ingesting, so yeah. What I talked about in a post that I shared online this week was, or last week was, the gap that's closing is between imagination and creation. So we can have an idea in the morning and print it out in the afternoon, or we can have a fully functional app in a couple of days. Yeah, I think marketing, what I'll tell you about marketing is, first and foremost, you need to know your customers. You cannot be everything for everybody. The closer you get to the person you want to sell to, the better. So do your research on that front. Once you know who your audience is, figure out what they need and make sure that your message resonates with them, and do not ever let up on that message. Use it consistently through everything you do, because eventually people will start to remember that message, the brand and the message. And from there, it's all about storytelling. All you have to do is tell the story of the things that you're doing differently. you cannot tell the story of the business you've built and the thing that you do every day. I mean, you tell that once, you can't tell it many times, but when you go out into the world and you do things differently, that creates space to tell stories. It creates newsworthy activity to be able to, have fodder to talk about. So that is the simplest way I could describe it to you. How you tell stories is going to be multiple formats. You need to write blog articles and frequently asked questions, and you need to be on podcasts, create your own podcasts, make your own videos. And when you talk to people, when you talk to your audience, you know who they are. You've defined who that target audience is. And when you talk into the camera, you're thinking about a person that fits that persona. And everything you're going to say is going to resonate with them. Everything that comes to your mind is going to be through the lens of that audience persona. And if you stick with it, you'll win. And what I mean by that is there's a rule that if you want to do something and succeed, you need to try 47 times before you give up, because it's often going to take that many times before you actually lock in on the success that you're looking for. Marketing is absolutely in that realm. It is a very hard nut to crack, but the thing that most people don't do is stay consistent and to push past the point of discomfort in whether or not it's actually going to work. If you believe it, it will work. So you got to keep pushing. If it makes sense, obviously you can't go out with a mission to fly airplane. If you think that there's a sound foundation, and that's why knowing your audience really matters. If you know who you're trying to sell to, you know who to talk to find out what their problems are, how they go about solving those problems, how they go about finding information. The thing I do, the reason I build live like this is because it's my way of telling a story. I don't have to have some scripted thing going on, and I get to show the world what it's like to build. I get to be myself. I get to help people. It's unscripted. I like that a lot. And I learn. And not a lot of people do stuff in public. I do a lot in public. I build a lot of things that people get to watch live. And at least here in my community, I don't know where you live, but here in Richmond, Virginia, the same thing happens every time I run into somebody on the street or an event. They're saying, "Oh, you're doing a lot of things." And the answer is yes, I am doing a lot of things, and AI is helping me do a lot of things. Okay, we're going to publish this guy. And if you're interested in reserving a robot for marketing purposes in the next couple of months, they'll give me $100. And if we don't get all 100 of them sold, or sorry, if we don't get 15 of them locked in 30 days, I'll give everybody their money back. Won't do it. Yeah, I'm not like the production guy. I mean, we have podcasts and we have real shows that aren't live. If you go over to, sorry, I was going to actually ingest this app really quickly. My personal website has a tool built into it that pulls in all of my projects if I just scrape it. So we'll be able to actually let folks know that we built this. Sometimes it's hard to build something new every weekend. But it is. I built a lot so far, so keep going. Yeah, I've got dashboard after dashboard after dashboard. My brain, fortunately, is good at compartmentalizing, so I can remember all these different views. But yeah, you can see all 35. There's more that I haven't added here yet. But see, is my video's not playing still? Video's still not playing. let me pop back in here. So this is where I can log. I can come into my sessions and make sure that I'm syncing those because I have everything so far. So pulling all that stuff in, you can see all my different live sessions here. You can see the apps. I can tie the apps to the live session so you can see which videos are associated with which apps. A couple missing videos, not sure why. Pulling all that stuff in, you can see all the different live sessions here. I think it was a failed live attempt. I can tell you though, this has been, yeah, this is Twitch. All right, so live, if I open this up, this is Twitch. You can see everything else that's going on down here. If you go, and actually if I'm not live, this will show you my schedule. But on Channel RVA, it's the same thing. I have it set up here to tell you when I'm live, and this is actually using a YouTube feed. This is Twitch. And there you go. I'm crazy, man. I do all kinds of stuff. Let me show you this one. AI Ready RVA. I did a lot of video work. Let me see if I can't find it. Let me go to YouTube really quickly and just actually sign in. Okay, I'm signed in. I am signed in. Let's see if I can find it. All right, well, in any event, this video, so this picture-in-picture mode pops down when you scroll down, so the video keeps playing. You can mute it with our internal controls. I'm gonna figure out why this is happening. YouTube embed on Lovable sites might be. In any event, there's a lot of intentional care that goes into making some of these experiences what they are. I don't think it's going to work still. It seems like all of my Lovable builds have comes out of that.
The media hub for independent
This one's my
creators.
personal website, same thing.
Subscribe at channelrva.com.
This was motivated by another one that I did. So Richmond Water, same thing. We wanted to, I saw this on some other website someplace once, and so this has got the follow links, and you can actually click into the map and see where all of our locations are. This is still using Google Maps and Google Forms, but switch that over to our other website one of these days soon.
Ein Hit, ein Jahr. Aber welches? Schalt jetzt zum
I'm
neuen
so
Hit-Quiz-Channel und
thirsty.
zock direkt
Now I'm
die nächste Runde. Let's quiz. This is I Love Chill Hop.
No, that's the WordPress. But the reservation site is made with AI, so this is a Lovable build. I haven't switched it over yet because the Richmond Water brand still has a lot of credibility in Richmond, and so we're sticking with that for the time. We'll make a switch over at some point. But yeah, this is still WordPress. It does have the reservation for that. Refuel station. So I do have a form here that is a Lovable form from my reservation site. So if you want to see this, same form, just embedded over there with a script. Trying to automate as much as possible. Yeah, I used to like WordPress. I know it has some AI features in it now, but I'm not using it anymore. Moved on. It's a big part of my life for many, many years. We're still supporting it. We still have clients that have WordPress sites. It's still great for SEO. Lovable is a little bit bumpy on that front. It's going to get better. But for now, that's where we're at. And I'm going to wrap up here because I want this video to play. So I'm hoping that that's going to work. I don't think it is, but that's okay. And I'm going to go out and test my reservation system to make sure that I can make it work. All right. This is a connector. So this is pretty new. I've been waiting for this for a while. I found it yesterday. It popped up in my logged into Lovable. And so I have a chat going on here and talking to multiple projects at one time that are all related to each other and have various aspects of connectivity. This is an internal application or series of internal applications that we use to run our agency. We've been working to build for a few months now, since I think April. Not a skill though, just a connector. Yeah, I don't do a lot of, when I write WordPress plugins, I use Claude code. That's about the only thing I use it for, but because it's all built into the Lovable agent, I get to use it there, but I have started to appreciate the thinking of Claude, but the execution of Lovable. This has been an evolution for me. I've been building in Lovable for over a year now, and I've built product roadmaps and things like, let me show you this because you'll appreciate this. If I go to the admin section, every product that I build has a product roadmap in it. There isn't one for the robot site because it's a smaller build. But this is basically where I store all the things that need to be done, have been done. It's over 320 different features that have been implemented into Channel RVA since I started it earlier this year. And this, I can basically go into Sprint. I can auto-assemble a Sprint based off of planned activities. And then I can click Execute Sprint and use the copy prompt to be able to move through 7 different tasks at one time using the Lovable agent. That build does exist. It's about a 5-minute video in my YouTube channel or inside of my studio site under sessions somewhere in there. But basically working to bypass the need to intervene every single time something finishes. Hear myself. Okay. It saves me a ton of time. It allows me to build more efficiently. One of the things that I've learned is that the human has a tendency to look at what it sees and get distracted by that. Which, if you know that and you can avoid it, that's great. But what I like to do is to do as much of the code architecture as possible without looking at what it builds, so that it can stay focused on the connectivity between the database and functions and hooks and all that stuff, really building a world-class application. And then the interface gets the last pass. That's where you start to test things, see if they work, and give the interventions that are going to take a little bit longer. But if you start to inject those interventions before you've built the base application, you're going to end up sending the priority signals awry in Lovable. It's going to start to think that these visual components, these little pieces, are the most important things, when really great software development is the most important thing. So build as much of the application as possible first, then get it into an interface that you can look at it in and test and refine. But it's going to be much faster if you wait for it to build everything before you start giving it critical feedback. I have no idea what's going on. Um, However, I have been gone for too long today, so I'm going to wrap up. This was fun. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hopefully, you learned something. Hopefully, you go and build something cool. Follow me here or wherever you are consuming media. You can subscribe to my channel on studio.wellmelted.com and you'll get an email whenever I'm about to go live. And with that, that's a wrap. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. We'll see you next Saturday.